As many of you guys know, I've been on the road living full time, playing and traveling for disc golf. But now, I've had to cut my tour short. And I have mixed feelings about it. If you've been following my journey really closely, you'd know that I was supposed to be on the road until October when I would come back here to Colorado. One time. But I'm back in Denver already for some good and some bad reasons that we'll get into as we play 9 holes here at Bird's Nest. Everything is super overgrown because there's been like crazy rain, so hopefully we don't lose a disc. Go in the bucket. First off, it's been a really weird month of content, I know. I posted half as much as I normally do, and that will change, don't worry, we'll get back to normal. Because it's been over 2 weeks since I've shot a video for the channel, and in the 2 weeks that I've been back in Denver, I've only played disc golf 3 times. I call this one 483 all the way down there to get started. And one of the reasons I haven't filmed much is a little bit of burnout, but also a pretty last minute change that all stem from me going to the preserve. Oh, that's so bad. I mean, it seems powerful, but so left. Discraft heat, baby. Hopefully you guys have seen the videos that I did at the preserve with Gannon and Kevin Kiefer, and I've been posting basically every day up until this point, and I just couldn't get a video up that day, and then it was really hard for me to get a video up the next day. And if you guys noticed, I was posting so much at midnight or 11 p.m. my time, and it just wasn't sustainable. And then going to the KC Wide Open and having to play a tournament that I wanted to give my attention to, I just wasn't able to produce as much content as I wanted to, or as much as I needed to make a living. And I miss my wife, and being on the road in general is tough. And so getting to KC Wide Open, I realized I was at a crossroads. The next week I was signed up for a tournament in Peoria, Illinois, and so I had to either drive 6 hours east to go there, or I could drive 9 hours west and get back to Denver, where I had an apartment that I was paying for, a place that wasn't a tin can that was 95 degrees all the time with no air conditioning, that I could rest every night. And I decided for my mental health, my physical health, which we'll get to, and my financial health, it'd probably be best for me to go home. Here's the heat. So I drove back to Denver essentially the day after the KC Wide Open finished, and it's a little over 2 weeks after that point, and it took me a while to settle in, and I'm trying to start to find good routines and just get over a little bit of burnout with not only creating disc golf content, but even playing disc golf. That's why some things on the channel are gonna have to change, which we'll get to here in a second, but first let's talk about the goals of the channel now. And I said goals of the channel, but it's really much more my disc golf goals. 276 right up there, I think. Slight head, we're gonna go hyzer foot pure. But the first one is that my goal to cash in an elite event is still a major goal, but I don't think that that'll happen super soon because I don't know when I'm next gonna play in one, so we're gonna change that slightly. And there are a couple things that I wanna do in disc golf that are outside of the channel and more like my competitive aspirations. One, obviously cash in an elite event. After that, the goal probably, if I do that, and I wanna continue on the touring road, is getting a tour card. But I think the first goal before those is to win an open tournament, an MPO event. And then I also want to throw over 500. And we'll break down a little bit of my philosophy and thoughts on that in this video, but then really unpack it over the next couple months. Flip-flop. And then another major one for me is to get 1,000 rated. And so I think the main goal that we'll think through for the foreseeable future is winning my first MPO event. But that's not even gonna be the main crux of the channel anymore. In the same way that trying to cash at a Pro Tour event was, even though these are things that I still wanna continue to do, and we'll still talk about them a decent bit and work towards them a lot on the channel, it's been an element that's been really missing from my channel, I feel, for the past little bit. And it's obviously a little self-imposed, but also because I felt a lot of imposter syndrome and external pressure, which luckily I feel a little bit alleviated because I was able to cash, even though it's a weak field, at the Kansas City Wide Open. 2 right. But before we get to the new direction of the channel, we need to talk about the training things that I just wasn't able to do in the van and my plans for those, and some of the realizations that I really had while I was touring and playing with the top level people in the game. It was a little bit eye-opening for me. Most of my training for the rest of this year, I feel like is going to revolve around distance, as that's not the only thing that I'm lacking at all, but I feel like that's the main thing that I can really easily point to say if I had more distance, it would be much easier for me to compete at the highest level. And one of the things that people always quote Paul Macbeth on saying is get distance and then get accuracy later. So one of the things that I definitely saw is MPO distance. You hear about that, and then you hear about elite distance, and there's a big gap between MPO distance and the elite, which I feel like is 550 plus on a backhand. So I feel like I'm kind of in between MA1 and MPO distance right now. I feel pretty confident about throwing anything between 410 and 430. I know I always joke about 399 on the channel. And then I feel like between 450 to 525 is kind of pro tour distance. Probably closer to 475 to 525. You really need that range to feel like you're able to compete at those levels. And then I would say 550 plus is elite level distance. And I need to make sure that I can get into that pro tour level distance, which I think is possible for almost anybody, except there's something that most people don't talk about that I'm really gonna focus the next 3 months of my training on. But it's the reason why I don't feel like, even though I've done so much form work, it hasn't translated into major distance gains. Let's go. Mobility work. I've actually heard a couple people talking about this more recently. I saw Slingshot had a video on Instagram. He was talking about it a bit. Overthrow in their most recent podcast with Ace Disc Golf, Ace Run something, another coach. They were talking a bit about mobility, but I think it's the missing link. But I know some reasons why I'm lacking in my distance right now. And we're really not gonna get into that in this video because I am gonna make future videos about it. But range of motion and strength in range of motion, but even just like opening up flexibility is majorly important, I feel, to adding more distance to my game, because when I look at the things that I need to do to throw farther, I know like getting my elbow up in my throw, rotating better through my hips and firing through them. I see the positions I need to get into, and I'm able to get into them when I slow down. But when I'm throwing a disc fast and using my fast twitch muscle fibers and my athleticism, if those ranges of motions aren't strong, your body is smart. It's not gonna let you hurt yourself. So even though when I slow down and I'm doing field work, I'm like, oh, I can get into these positions. When I speed it up, I can't, because I'm struggling to get in those positions, or I'm having to work towards it more than my body wants. And so working on mobility before I go back into doing a little bit more form work is gonna be crucial for me. And I'll share that with you guys. If you don't think it's true, that's fine, but I'm pretty sure that's one of, if not the missing link for me and being able to actually do the form things that I wanna do. It's probably gonna be short, but that's okay. Mobility isn't just stretching. For me, it's never really static stretching. It's always dynamic. And then lifting. Obviously need to fix my elbow and focus on nutrition, which I've been really good at for the past 2 or 3 weeks nutrition-wise. Now it's just getting into the gym because the intensity in the gym is more important than the diet. As long as the diet's there, you're working those muscles into new ranges of motion. And I think that's one of the reasons why my levator right now is like absolutely killing me, because I'm using it in new ways. So I'm focusing on mobility and stretching it and not overdoing things, which is another reason why I'm only throwing one off these tees pretty much. And like really focusing on having more of a pitch count every single day. And all that will help me to have big distance gains on forehand and backhand as I increase that mobility, and I'm able to work through those ranges of motion in throwing a disc. But we'll get into why, even though this is important, I feel like I've overemphasized it a lot, especially like the tournaments. I am a YouTuber first and a disc golfer second. And I think because of that, I need to like shift the direction slightly of the channel. I love the competitive side and I love my competitive side, but I know that not all of you guys are as interested in that. And overemphasizing that for me too much makes me actually not progress as fast as I could and not enjoy it as much and be burnt out to the point where I only played 3 rounds of disc golf over the course of this past 2 weeks. And I think all of them were with friends and I didn't want to play anymore, which is not good. Whoa, dang, good line. Come on, buddy. There we go. Ooh. And the thing that I've been missing and that travel took from me and of creating content while traveling is that disc golf is fun. Even the competitive side, like it's fun to play. I've lost that a bit by being overly competitive, worrying a little bit too much or a lot too much what people think about me and my competitive ambitions, and then not just enjoying what I'm doing. I've lost a lot of the fun that is disc golf for myself. And I want to get that back on the channel. Now, of course, I think the competitive side of disc golf is fun, otherwise I wouldn't set these goals like I do. But when that's the only part of disc golf that you find to have fun, it puts so much pressure on your rounds to be able to execute, especially when you know that there is some external pressure. I know you guys don't put a lot on me, but I feel a lot of pressure from knowing that I'm gonna be putting out content. And I had listened to a lot of the feedback of you're reviewing so many discs and not playing with your own bag so much over the off season that I've basically only been playing with my own bag and not really reviewing too much. And I find so much joy and fun in reviewing discs, playing new courses, and playing with buddies. And one of those things is we're gonna not take the Denver line. It's like 255, it looks like right there. And we're gonna actually throw it up the gut. Yeah, buddy. It's a good Frisbee. And so getting back here, being able to focus more on disc reviews, obviously competition, like I'm gonna have 1 or more tournaments every single month, focusing on training, but playing the mountain courses, getting back to just having fun rounds with buddies and doing like fun bonanza battles or fun just challenge videos. I'm wanting to do more of that, not all of that, because that's not all of who I am, but all of who I am isn't just competitive in disc golf either. It's the mix of all of it that I really enjoy about disc golf and enjoy about myself and how I fit into the disc golf content and just disc golf world in general. But I was missing a part of the fun that disc golf gave me. And that meant that I felt like my content actually got worse because I wasn't enjoying it nearly as much. And I play my best and get better fastest when I'm enjoying it, which just like makes sense to everybody, right? It was luck. And so that takes us into the new direction for the channel. Slightly new, kind of new. Maybe kind of like revisiting what I loved about when I started it. I think that thing is so much flippier than it is. It's straight, man. I mean, it held the hyzer and it got there, but stay up. So to kind of go back to my roots a little bit of what helped me grow the channel, but also what I really enjoyed and helped spark my creativity is starting August 1st, we're gonna be doing a year-long challenge, trying to get 365 days of daily uploads, but not compromising quality or anything like that. But because I'm here trying to have a better system and schedule in place to get ahead on content, obviously if I feel burnout, I'm gonna stop. I'm not just gonna do 365 days to do 365 days, but that'll open up so much opportunity for me to still go through my training on a week-by-week basis, still go through my tournaments that I play, but also have plenty of disc reviews, more fun challenges, and hopefully more collaborations throughout the rest of this next year. And honestly, because being in the van was a little bit of a financial drain, it would be nice to know that if I just put up a video every day, hopefully I'm not like hemorrhaging a little bit of cash like I was while I was on the road a bit. And being here in Denver gives me a couple other really cool opportunities. One is just related to my store, because I actually did get a restock of the Banana Club zones. We have some more of those, not a crazy amount, but I'll be able to do a lot more releases. And starting next week, I'm kind of gonna open the vault of a lot of the old stuff that I've kind of held onto, either from my old days, some of my old Ace discs that are cool, but I don't really have a crazy sentimental attachment to, as well as some old misprints and some of the old first run stamps, first shattered van stamp runs of things. Keep your eye out on the website for about a week from now. I'll release a video about that. And then also, you guys should be able to send me some stuff if you want, because I do have a P.O. box that I'll release in a video probably later this week. And there'll be a lot more opportunities just to be involved in more videos and for me to plan things out a little bit better and not be like running around with a chicken with my head cut off, trying to live out of a van and put out really mediocre videos every day. Swing out of it. Distance was good, just kind of held that turn a bit. If you have ideas, the main way I'm communicating with people is over on Instagram. But I'm really excited because all in all, this is just to get myself financially healthier, physically healthier, mentally much healthier, and like create really good rhythms and routines. I'm just excited for what can happen now that I really am focusing on being the YouTuber first, disc golfer second, because that's also how I got the best at disc golf. So hopefully we can make this. Got a pin high, that's good. Not even close, dude. What are you doing? What are you doing? As always, massively thank you guys so much for always supporting me. And a lot of the reason why I was able to go to that silver event and cash there is because you guys have over and over again reached out to me about how you believe in me, even at times that I really didn't. And so we're gonna continue pushing towards trying to play the best disc golf we can, get to that pro tour level while mainly focusing on bringing you guys the best content that I can around getting better, but also just fun. Thank you for listening to my ramblings, and I'll see you tomorrow. Probably.